What's going on, everybody? YouTube members. Hope you guys are having a nice day. I haven't seen any messages in the chat yet. I guess everybody's just fighting for their spots in the mock draft. We've only got one open slot left. We got Dan, we got Rich, we got Tim in the 4 spot, we got Chris, we got Yella. There we go, just filled up. Let me switch over to the mock draft view. Guys, say something in the chat. Let me know that I'm not alone here. Oh, 12 just opened up. Maybe somebody moved from 12 to 3. I don't know. Yeah, we're doing the mock. Startup mock, regular settings here, 12 team Superflex, PPR tight end premium. We do have the 3rd round reversal switched on. Don't worry about the membership details underneath. I'm not trying to sell you on something you already have. It's just it's added into the overlay here that we're using, so it's here. But anyway, we got Chris here, we got Austin here, we got Hasib, we got Nate. Chris says Paul's lonely jesters arrive. I wouldn't. You said it, not me. Just to be clear. Austin, what is this top fans thing? I don't know. The 9 spot in the mock draft. Here's Dan and Tim reminding me that I am not alone. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. We got OK Nikolai filling us out in the 12 spot. So we are full here. Austin asks, how's it going? It's going just fine. I played excuse me, except for my body betraying me just then. Played some pickleball this morning with some buddies, came home, finished editing, got the video posted, did some dishes, set this up, had some pizza for lunch. It's been a good day so far. Yeah, but we're not gonna waste any time. So we're just kind of doing this mock for fun. I will talk obviously about the picks that are being made. I may even pause it at some point if maybe in the middle of it to just kind of see how the teams are shaping up. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We're just having a good time here. July 3rd. And I am going to kick this thing off in a second. So Dan, hopefully you are ready to rock. We're just going to see what happens here. All right, we are off and running. I'm going to try to balance this, making the picks. Oh, I got to turn the audio off. I always do this. All right. So we get the chalky first few picks. I mean, we're probably not going to see a lot of stuff really off the rails here just because it is all members. Theoretically, people kind of know how the rankings work. They know generally what the process is here, but you know, feel free to deviate from the consensus, take some risks, build some teams in a way you might not normally build them. No point in playing it safe. I went with the 7 spot, which is not one that I would pick for myself typically. Yellow Dog sticks to his guns here and takes Neighbors ahead of Justin Jefferson. I'm left here with an interesting choice between Jefferson and Brock Bowers. Tough call, to be honest with you. I do have Jefferson ranked higher, I believe, but I think I want Bowers. I'm going to take Brock Bowers here, just see what happens. It's definitely, you know, you lock in that onesie position there at tight end, is going to leave me a little bit thinner at wide receiver. But we'll see what happens. Chris says, I would wreck you in pickleball. I mean, I know for a fact you're like 8 inches taller than me, so that alone is going to give you a little bit of an advantage. You probably have the wingspan to reach all the way across the pickleball court, but maybe we can add that to the itinerary whenever you get up to New Jersey. Scotty says, Paul Patterson as I live and breathe. Here I am, living and breathing currently. After my pick, it went Jefferson. Obviously, that's the move there. Lamb over Burrow. I like it. I've started a movement there with the Burrow fade. We've got Puka, Brian Thomas, and Jahmyr Gibbs at the turn, so a little Gibbs RB1 action. Genty goes to Nate at the 202, and then Bijan Robinson. So there go the running backs. And then it's going to come back to me here in a second. Amon-Ra off the board. Then it goes to Max. He takes Mahomes. Top guy in ADP is Saquon Barkley. Pretty tempting pick here to go Saquon Barkley, 28-year-old running back coming off 400 touches here in the middle of the second round. I really do love that idea, but I think I'm going to go with my guy Nico Collins here instead. Now this creates an interesting question because I could have had Jefferson and McBride, and instead I took Bowers and Collins. I don't know if that was the right call or not. You guys let me know which 2v2 you think is better, Jefferson McBride or Bowers Nico. Oh, and just in case it wasn't clear, I was being sarcastic about the Barkley pick there. I was not tempted at all. And I do think I think Barkley 210 sticks out as probably the early contender for worst pick here. I am going to single some people out, just so you know, as we go. And the purpose of that is just to share my takes on the landscape, share my takes on where you're drafting some of these players. So hopefully no one's taking that personally, but I do not love the Barkley start with Lamar. Tim went with McConkey at the 2-9, kind of feeling the wide receiver shortage there, a little bit rich. I think Nikolai gets a great value on May, followed up by a really good value on Herbert. There's something sticky on my phone. All right, May, Herbert, and then I'm just trying to get myself prepared here. Austin goes Marvin Harrison, Omarion Hampton. Little running back heavy, more running backs than I would have expected coming off the board. Huh. Might actually draft somebody that I never, ever draft. We'll see what Max does. Oh, never mind. I'm not drafting a guy that I never draft because that was who I was going to take. Okay, going to pivot here. I don't remember who I have ranked the highest in this group, but... Oh, actually, I do know exactly who I have ranked the highest here. We're going to go with another wide receiver. We'll go with Mr. Teteroa McMillan. Pick 306. I probably would have gone Knicks there just since I didn't have a quarterback, but I kind of glad Knicks went off the board because I sort of forgot about the rookies because they're pushed down really far on the list here. Looks like the consensus was Jefferson McBride. At least a few people said Jefferson McBride over Bowers Nico. So guess that's good feedback. Yellow goes with JSN to complete the Dynasty domain approved start. JSN over Travis Hunter, kind of the coward's move, to be honest with you, but, you know, it is what it is. Richard said, going to try the two elite quarterback build. I like these less than the wide receiver focused ones late. Yeah, I mean, why not give it a shot? It's not a real draft. So just see how it turns out. See if you like the feeling. Oh, Chris, I didn't see this. Any plans this weekend? Phew, excuse me. Sneezing into the microphone is top of the list, and then gonna be in a buddy's wedding tomorrow. Saturday, might get out for some golf in the morning, not sure. Planning to play some soccer in the evening. That's pretty much the plan. All right, Hurst gets a good value on Stroud at 310. Then we go Garrett Wilson, Rashee Rice, Breece Hall, Bucky Irving. Can't be mad at any of those picks. Mike, I pretty much agree with this line of thinking. Why is Saquon a second-round starter pick and CMC 5th or 6th? Basically the same bet. Yeah, I mean, I think it's totally reasonable to prefer Barkley because he's done it most recently. He's, I think at this point it's safe to say he's probably the superior athlete and he is healthier. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if McCaffrey outscored him this year. I think if McCaffrey stays healthy, he is going to outscore him this year. So it's like, why not? Now, you did took McCaffrey a little bit higher than I would do as well. Definitely leaning into the win now build. Not a huge fan of Laporta as a 4th round pick either. That's pretty well documented. Yella just keeps stacking up the wide receivers. I think at this point, I can't really ignore the quarterback values. We're right there where I like to be drafting quarterbacks. Not really any stacks to consider here. I'm just going to take Trevor Lawrence. At the 4-7, could have gone Kyler, could have gone Love. I don't have a strong lean in that group, to be honest with you, but just doing that. But yeah, I agree with you, Mike. 3-round difference is ridiculous. I think Saquon should be going in this like late 3rd round area, and I think McCaffrey should probably be going early mid 5th. I don't know, one of those two, or somewhere in that zone. T-Law over the best quarterback in the NFC is hilarious. Jaden Daniels went 101, Nate. Okay, check the draft board. Maybe yours is acting up a little bit. Love, Kyler, Purdy, all these guys should be going in this range of the draft. Like all these picks for sure. Couple guys that I would not mind getting back to me. I really hope nobody snipes me on Kyron. Big Kyron Williams guy here, so please leave him to me. Don't take Rome Odunze either. Really hoping to get Rome on the way back here. Judkins, McCarthy. Nate goes on auto. Nate goes on auto pick once per mock draft, apparently. Great pick there, Nate. Were you crashing out about who to pick in this fictional startup draft? I was reading. What were you reading? Be present. Be present in the moment. Nathaniel, we're drafting a Dynasty startup here. Participate. Chase Brown, Loveland. Good. These are all good picks for sure. I typically say this to myself halfway through every startup that I'm in, and then it ends up being okay. Darn it, got sniped on Rome Odunze. I guess I'm gonna have to take someone else. I'm going to go with Mr. Cameron Ward. Go get my double quarterbacks out of the Oasis. We're going a little 0 RB action here today. Nate, how dare you come into my startup draft, auto pick Derrick Henry in the 5th round, and then talk about some other creators' dynasty rankings and say they're better than mine. Who do you think you are? Double King says Rome bomb deployed. Yeah, I mean, it is a bomb in that it's going to blow up Max's Dynasty team. Henderson, Igbuka. Chris is going with the rookie movement here out of the 5 hole. I like it. I like it. Hurts, McBride, Hunter, Henderson, Igbuka. It's pretty solid. I'm gonna DT Hurst. I'm gonna need you to walk me through the Terry McLaurin pick there. I don't understand that one at all. Devonta Smith 5'11". Dan's gone a little running back heavy. He does get Michael Penix here at the tail end of the quarterback oasis. Get his 2 quarterbacks there. Is there a wide receiver worth picking? Maybe. Could see a couple I would consider. Oh, that was the one I was looking at. Yeah, like that pick for sure. A few guys I would not mind getting here at the 607 if you guys could just stay away from my queue for a second here. Zay Flowers goes off the board. Hawkinson. I don't know, man. I would take, I think I would, I'm still taking Tyler Warren, I think, over Hawkinson. I like what Tim's doing here with his quarterbacks. If he had taken Henderson instead of Laporta, I would be really vibing with this team. Chase, McConkey, Brown is a sick trio. Mayfield, Prescott, very serviceable quarterback duo at a good price. Darn it. I was really hoping I would get Kyron on the way back, but alas, foiled again. I'll take Mr. Worthy. Mike, I don't think that we have, I mean, certainly haven't overcorrected if we're taking Laporta in the 4th round. That's definitely not an overcorrection. I mean, there's a full round ahead of Loveland, 2 full rounds ahead of Hawkinson. I do not think that he's worthy of that. I don't think he should be going over Henderson or Higgins, Lawrence, really any of these quarterbacks. But no, I mean, I don't think we've overcorrected. Honestly, I looked at the Laporta numbers. I don't have them in front of me right now, but the gist is from week... Can't find it. In that stretch of the season, I don't remember if it was week 13 or what week it started in, but I think it was right after the Thanksgiving game from that point to the end of the season. I looked at his numbers. I included the playoffs I included the playoffs as well. His peripheral numbers, his yards per outrun, his targets per outrun, was basically identical to Pat Freiermuth and Hunter Henry. The difference is that he caught 5 touchdowns in 7 games, and that his passing offense was higher volume. That was the difference between Sam Laporta and Pat Freiermuth. So when I'm looking at the team, anticipating, shoot, where do I want to go here? 1 second. Might draft a player I don't usually draft here, depending on what Max does. Wait, am I missing a rookie here that's obvious? The rookies are so far down. Dang, man. Max just keeps taking the guys that I like. I don't even like Josh Jacobs, but I really did like him at that spot as my first running back drafted. That's kind of a bummer. Let's see. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't love any of this. Technically, my rankings say James Cook, but I don't want to do that, so I'm taking Caleb Johnson. Anyway, just let me just go back to the Laporta thing for a second. He was not putting up elite peripherals. And the reason I think that's the case is that Jamison Williams broke out last year. And that made Laporta kind of not the clear second target in the offense anymore. Maybe the second target, but if he is the second, it's like 2A, 2B. So it's just, I don't think the upside is there anymore. You know, with Laporta, outside of contingent injury situations, like if Jamison Williams was to get hurt or Amon-Ra was to get hurt, the Lions offense was as good as it reasonably can be. It's going to be worse this year. Jared Goff is not going to throw 37 touchdowns this year. They're not going to average as many touchdowns. They're not going to average as many yards per play as they did last season. They lost Ben Johnson. Natural regression was coming anyway because you can't just run that hot and keep running. So anyway, the point is that I don't think Laporta really has a good shot at difference-making production. I don't care that he's young and like safe or whatever. I just want upside at the position. He doesn't have the upside of a McBride or a Bowers. He's just kind of this middle ground. He's kind of like a Devonta Smith type of tight ends at this point where you can rely on the projection, but you're not going to get the ceiling. Aaron, this might be a little bit of a stretch to me. Like, Devon Achane is a much, much better receiving back than Ken Walker. He was getting some targets last year just by virtue of the scheme. But I don't think that he has Achane level upside. Like, Achane can be the overall RB1 for the season. I don't really think that's in the range. But I understand the sentiment. I mean, I certainly think Walker is undervalued. That is not a debate to me. Let's see. All right. Well, I'm just going to take the overhated Tua to be my QB3 here. I don't think there's any skill player that I can really justify taking over him. So we're going to just do that. Double King. I'm drafting from my phone at the moment. I do like drafting at my PC, but I don't want to mess with this layout over here by pulling up the list of players and whatever, so I'm doing it on my phone. Tim, you say Laporta over Loveland by a good bit. Loveland unproven and heavy target comp. I mean, Laporta has even stronger target competition because Amon-Ra St. Brown is twice as good as anybody that plays for the Bears, and Jamison Williams is honestly probably better than everyone that plays for the Bears. Like, it's possible that the Lions have two pass catchers that are better than every single pass catcher on the Bears. And if anything, Jamison Williams is a wash with Rome and DJ Moore. So I think Laporta has the stronger target competition, and Loveland has the unknown rookie benefit. I don't like the word unproven as a negative because it's not a negative in Dynasty. When you're talking about a player that's unproven, you're talking about a player that the market does not already have a preconceived notion of what their ceiling is. And so Laporta can come out and be fine, but if Loveland comes out and scores like 13 points the first two games of the season, he's going to gain value in a way Laporta won't because there are already these expectations on Laporta, whereas Loveland kind of has insulation on the back end as a rookie where if he isn't that good, it's like, well, he was hurt all offseason and he is a rookie and he's really, really young. But if he is good, then he's flying. Like Loveland, I think it's very, very possible Loveland is the tight end 3 in Dynasty by like week 4. Consensus wise, he's already my tight end 3, but I think consensus wise, he's going to get there pretty quick. All right, we're starting to see some pretty gross players fly off the board. Joe Mixon and David Montgomery. I don't know why we're taking those dusty running backs over guys like Jaden Higgins, Trey Harris, players that are actually interesting, that have upside. I'm about to come on the clock here. I don't know. These players are in such a weird order now. It's like really hard for me to just scroll down and find the guys I'm looking for that I would expect to be in this range, but I'm doing my best. Jaden Reed. Max, can you stop it? Can you stop taking the guys that I want to draft, please? My goodness. All right. We'll go with another rookie running back here, I guess. Nate says, I auto-drafted Henry because I get to now put Henry in my flex. That's so true. You win the flex. So, Tim, my argument here is that I don't really see how Laporta has a season like his rookie year. Like, I think at some point we can't just say, well, he did it once, he can do it again. We need to actually look at the numbers. How exactly is he getting back to that point? Is it that he's going to be this year he's going to just completely surpass Jameson Williams? Is it that Amon-Ra's role is going to get smaller? Is it that Jahmyr Gibbs' role is going to get smaller? Like, who is losing out on touches for Laporta to get to that work? Because I don't see anybody on the team that deserves to have their workload reduced to benefit Laporta. Like, a target to Jameson Williams is more valuable than a target to Sam Laporta. He operates at a higher average depth of target. He's more likely to break a touchdown. I don't see any reason why any given passing play should be designed to go to Sam Laporta over Jameson or Amon-Ra St. Brown. I just don't see what the point is. And so it's really easy to see how it happened in his rookie year when Jameson was in and out of the lineup. He wasn't really showing anything. Like, he looked like a total bust. This past year, we get Amon-Ra and Jameson. If a wide receiver and a tight end are similar in ability, the tiebreaker is going to go to the wide receiver because he's more explosive. He's going to make bigger plays. The tight end can be used to block where Jameson can't. So there's going to be more plays where Laporta is chipping somebody or he's in as a blocker or whatever. I just don't really see how he's getting back to his rookie season production. I just don't see how that's happening without an injury or a trade or something like that. So I'm not really afraid of that outcome. It's just like, I'm not afraid of an outcome that I can't really project. And also, I do think part of Laporta's crazy value after his rookie season, second round startup pick value, which was insane, was that there was a progression being expected. So the difference now is if he gets back to his rookie season, he's probably worth about where you took him. Because where he was going as a rookie was expecting a leap in year two, not just, hey, he's going to do the same thing again. Because again, even as a rookie, when he was really good, he still wasn't McBride. He still wasn't Bowers. So there's just no way for him to get there, in my opinion. I'll get to some of these other questions in a second. After my pick at Tootin, I like a lot of these picks, Gino and Jennings. I'm just going to look away from the Darnold, Pacheco picks. Godwin, Kraft, Ridley, Andrews. Keon Coleman, that's nasty. James Conner, DeAndre Swift, Matt Stafford. Now I'm up. I'm a little thin in the wide receiver core. I'm going to go ahead and grab... I'm not really looking at all the players right now. I'm going to go Michael Pittman here. Mike Conrad says, how do you feel about May in the second? Feels like he has to be Allen or Lamar good to return value. Could seriously drop if he isn't a QB1. I think so here's what we need to know. Basically two facts that we need to know. In Drake May's complete games last year, he was scoring roughly 17 points per game. I think he was the QB 14 or 13 in points per game in his completed starts. And his situation is significantly better now than it was last year. Like, it's still not good, but it's significantly better. Diggs and Kyle Williams are significant additions in the receiving room. They added a new left tackle. They added multiple different offensive linemen. They add Trey Henderson, who's going to catch passes out of the backfield, hopefully create more explosive plays in the run game. So the situation's much better. Plus, just getting rid of their play caller from last year, that's not going to hurt anything. So I'm not really worried about May failing from a production standpoint. I'm not sure that he's going to score this year in line with a second round startup pick, but I don't think he's going to lose. I don't think he's going to lose value. I think he's really, really good. Nate, what in the world is that pick? Nate, what are you doing, bro? Dontavian Wicks in the 11th round? Are you insane? I think he's finally gone over the edge, folks. I think he's out of his mind. What is happening? Yellow, what do you mean your card expired? What does that mean? Oh, like you lost membership? That's crazy. What's up, Marty? Welcome to the stream. I'm definitely going to have to roast some people, and not just roast, but I'm going to need explanations for some of these picks. Absolutely going to need explanations for some of these picks. The Dontavian Wicks pick is absolute nonsense. That makes no sense. Terrible, terrible pick. There's no way that he's the highest ranked player in my... I mean, he's got to be 50 picks ahead of his ranking in my ranks. And probably in Jacob's ranks too. I like the other ones, though. Tracy, Diggs, Milrow, good picks. Pollard gives me a little stability at running back early in the season. Nate, what's the news? I mean, just to be clear, I hope Matthew Golden's okay. But if Matthew Golden got hit by a bus today, that would still be a bad spot to draft Dontavian Wicks. It would still be a bad pick if Matthew Golden was Thanos snapped out of the universe. But I am curious. I am curious about the news. Yella's going with the highly fragile quarterback room. I don't hate this strategy, but it is going to be tough long term. Geno, Stafford, Shuck. Also absolutely despise the running backs that he picked. Kyron, Hubbard, Mixon. He should have taken Walker over Kyron. He probably should have taken... Well, he couldn't have taken Jacobs over Hubbard. Should have taken James Cook over Hubbard for sure. Mixon was just not a good value at all. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. What do you mean you wanted Tua? Tua went after. You took Mixon over Tua. Mike, going back to the Drake May conversation, very few quarterbacks have put up elite seasons with a bottom half O-line and one of the worst wide receiver rooms in the NFL. Yeah, I mean, I didn't say I was projecting an elite season. I don't think being a QB1 is an elite season. I think he can finish QB 11 or 10 just fine and maintain value and probably gain value when the team continues to make improvements. I would agree. I don't think he's going to finish like top 5 or anything. Yella, I mean, I just don't know how are people going to ignore the values at quarterback? Like Tua, Young, and Dart were the highest ranked players left in my rankings, but when you took Mixon, like somebody was going to take the quarterbacks for sure. We're not just NPCs who are just going to like completely ignore value to keep taking players at positions that we need or whatever. At least I'm not an NPC. All right. Nate, I still didn't get any explanation for the Wicks pick. Are we just chalking that up as like, is that just trolling or what? What was the point? I'm gonna go ahead and grab the entire Titans backfield here. Angus, welcome to the stream. I'm glad that you made your debut here by criticizing one of my picks. I'm curious, other than Geno, maybe, which obviously I didn't really want my fourth quarterback. Who are we looking at after Tootin's off the board that is really a huge loss to my team? I'm genuinely curious about that. Mike, please tell me where did you find this? Where did you find this startup? This is actually ridiculous. What they offered you their next pick. So they offered you a 26 first to move up 8 spots in the 9th round of a startup is basically what you're telling me. What in the world is going on? They didn't even just try offering you the first straight up for Tootin, which would definitely work. What? That's a ridiculous trade. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. People suck at this game, dude. People are so bad at this game. All right. We got a couple Fergusons back to back. Tight ends, tight ends, tight ends. Some tight ends coming off the board here. Nikolai's trying to go one for upside and one for safety here with Jake Ferguson and Harold Fannin. I'm looking for something that is interesting to me even a little bit. That would have been a good one. I like the Jordan Mason pick. Austin, how many running backs do you need, brother? You're going to be definitely trying to swing some deals before the season starts because you have nothing at wide receiver. There goes Mason. There goes Garendo. There goes Coker. Man, I don't know. What am I supposed to draft here? I can't even... Don't want to worry about pulling up my rankings right now. Probably gonna go... Probably just gonna go Fat Debo here. Yeah, I mean, Angus, obviously, I would have liked to take the quarterbacks there. I didn't really want to draft 4 quarterbacks. And since this is just a mock draft, I just wanted to look at what my team looks like at the end and not just have a bunch of quarterbacks. But I don't see who are the high-end locked-in starters that I passed on. Are we calling Juwan Jennings and Calvin Ridley high-end locked-in starters? I mean, I'm not really sure if those players are... Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of gross. Okay, what is with these picks? Quentin Johnston and Rashad Bateman? These are horrible picks. What is happening? What in the world is happening? Who are these? Who are you people? I clearly have a lot of work to do. Austin, this is a real startup. You didn't pay into the league safe yet? This is a $500 league. And by joining this mock draft, it is legally binding. So my lawyers will be in touch. Oh, man. This is it's kind of icky down here in this part of the draft, to be honest. I just don't know what I want. I'm trying to cue some guys that are tolerable. But it's not pretty. What? Okay, you guys have gone completely off the rails here with these picks. I am disgusted. I'm beside myself. These are nasty picks. I think just grab one more tight end for safety. I don't know if I think I would prefer Goddard over... Yeah, I prefer Goddard over Jonnu at this point. Oh, okay. Well, at least QJ was a misclick by Yellow Dog. That's good. Yeah, I'm gonna need explanations for Rashad Bateman, Jalen Royals, Xavier Leggett, Jonathan Brooks. Did Yella mean to take Jonathan Brooks? He's on auto right now, so maybe not. Darren Waller. Oh my gosh, Cavante Turpin. You guys are trolling me. Somewhere along the way, we just gave up on doing a real draft. Okay. All right. Very funny. Ha ha ha. I'm taking... I'll take Jalen Wright. Okay. We're gonna have a chat here, guys. I hope some of you can stick around for a little bit post draft because we're gonna have a talk, and I'm going to put some of you on the chopping block. I'm gonna call out some picks, and I'm gonna ask if you would type out a little explanation for why you took certain players, if you can. But I will talk about what I'm seeing here. Maybe do a quick power ranking or something. Chris, he might have been a value in my rankings, but I'm sure he wasn't my highest ranked player left, or even maybe, I don't know. I don't think he would have been among my 5 highest ranked players on the board, but maybe he was. Definitely not as bad of a pick as Jonathan Brooks, that's for sure. Or Rattler or Turpin or Brady or, but the Brady pick obviously was a joke. He just needed a leader in the locker room, as he says here. Okay, so we're done. We did it. We did the startup mock draft. My pick came out, or my team came out like this: Bowers, Nico, McMillan, Lawrence, Ward, Worthy, Caleb, Tua, Byshel Tootin, Michael Pittman, Tony Pollard, Tyjae Spears, Debo Samuel, Dallas Goedert, Jalen Wright. Don't hate the team at all. I think looking back on it, Jefferson and McBride's probably the better combo there. So if it was Jefferson, McBride at the start, I think I would like it a little bit better. I really like where I got the quarterbacks in this one. I think they were good values. Caleb Johnson in the middle of the 7th round, probably my least favorite pick. Looking back on it, I'm not sure what I would have done differently though. Really, the only other options in my rankings would have been like DJ Moore, Matthew Golden, DK Metcalf, James Cook. My highest ranked guys there were quarterbacks, so probably a spot where I would have been looking to trade since Downs went and Burden went. Tough scene there, but otherwise I do really like the picks. To touch on Byshel Tootin one more time, like looking at this team, if I can pull up my starters, I don't need Tootin to be a starter for me because I'm going to be able to put Pollard there, and then I can put Debo or Goddard or somebody in the flex. So, it's all fine and good to say take a starter. Like, let's see, take a starter like who even went after him? Like James Conner, probably been my favorites. Conner would have been my favorite productive veteran to go with after Tootin was here. But I got Pollard at the 11th, and like, do I really want to have Conner and Pollard, or do I want to take Conner and swap out Pollard for the next highest rookie, which would have been Shuck or Knoll? Like, I definitely would rather have Tootin and Pollard than have Conner and Shuck. I just think that I think there's 2 things going on here, which is one, I think maybe we're underselling the impact of the hit if Tootin does hit. And I think he has much better odds to hit than guys like Dylan Sampson or Jaden Blue or Jarquez Hunter, guys that are going later. And then I also think we're overestimating how much a player like a James Conner really matters. Like, it would be great if somebody made a video that specifically talked about how much James Conner actually mattered to winning and losing. Because then I think it would kind of put in perspective why when you get to the 9th, 10th, 11th round of a startup, it's fine, I think, to just swing for upside. And later on, if I feel like this team is too thin to survive, then I can probably just flip Tootin for some productive vet later. But I'm going to go ahead and take the upside right now. I don't think we're out over our skis. The guy that traded a first and his 10th round startup pick to get him, that guy's out over his skis for sure. So let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, I mean, the real one's no. Double King. Grandma's over Connor. I mean, at the very least, Grandma's equal to Connor. So looking at these other teams, I'm not going to read every single roster. I do want to single out a few teams here. DT Hurst 2. I would say of everybody in this draft, your process here building this team probably differs from my process more than anybody else that's drafting here. So I'm definitely curious on some of these picks. I mentioned at the time, I don't really understand why we would be taking McLaurin over Devonta, Olave, Flowers, Worthy, Waddle, Addison, Pickens. I think there's at least like 8 wide receivers that made more sense as a pick there. I don't love the Moore or Evans picks, but they're not necessarily egregious relative to the players that went around them. But my biggest concern with this team is like, it just has it has no upside. It feels like a team that's just going to perpetually decline in value until 2 years from now, when it's like a 2-year rebuild at minimum. And then I don't know what you're doing with the team at that point. And it's not like Barkley and McCaffrey is nice, but the rest of the team is not a powerhouse by any stretch. Like if I was just power ranking teams on who do I think is likely to win the league in year one, I don't think that I would even pick this team. So I just don't know. I just don't know what we're doing here with these players, where it's like you're not really getting an edge in terms of your production this year, but you're also not really going to be able to sustain that value. So that's a tough one for me. I think this is an interesting approach here from Nikolai, who goes 1 wide receiver early, kind of playing a hero wide receiver build, and then he goes with his 2 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, and then he just hammers wide receiver for 6 consecutive rounds. I think he got a good price on Pickens. I'm never going to be mad at a Josh Downs pick. And then, the rest of these guys are pretty fine. Pearsall, Higgins, Myers, Williams. He's got like good texture, I think, to the wide receiver room here, where he has some rookies, he has some young players, what he doesn't really have, other than I guess Jacoby, would be that veteran that is going to be kind of steady production for you. But he's got Thomas locking it down at the top. Looking at Austin's team, since he asked, the wide receiver core is pretty brutal. Now, that's not that big of a deal coming out of a startup. You can be light at wide receiver because you still have time to make trades. I will say you're probably not acquiring any top wide receivers here prior to the season starting, unless you can package Marv with something to get a wide receiver. But yeah, you have time to turn some of these players like a Scatabo, like a Mason, package them up with maybe a second rounder to upgrade at wide receiver. But like, you're obviously not contending with Harrison, Burden, and Harris all in the lineup. Harrison's fine in that spot, but Burden and Harris as your wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 is not going to cut it, I don't think, in year one. But definitely don't hate the values you were getting. And I don't mind just punting tight end. Johnny's pretty gross now as your tight end 1, but 15th round, you got him after Kavonte Turpin. That feels like good value. If I was just looking at these teams, like, who do I think is going to contend the best in year one? Just want to glance at that real quick. Don't take this as gospel just because I'm doing it really offhand. I wouldn't put myself in that group because I do have McMillan that I'm relying on early. I have Ward I'm relying on. I think mine is a team that's more likely to like sneak into the playoffs in year one and maybe make some noise and be better in year 2. Not necessarily an immediate favorite. Tim's team feels pretty strong for that because he's got really good wide receivers at the top. Those guys are going to carry to some extent. His quarterbacks are totally, middle of the pack. James Cook and James Conner and Aaron Jones, there's maybe enough juice there. at wide receiver, or I mean at running back to get him through. Yella's team gonna have a really fearsome foursome at wide receiver. Neighbors, London, JSN, Higgins. Kittle is obviously a great contending piece. I think Geno Smith and Matt Stafford are good for year one. The running backs are a little bit gross, but if Kyron is going to survive the season, yeah, I mean this team looks like one that could be a front runner for one of those buys. I mean Nate's honestly this team over here. I can't click on it because Nate left the draft somehow, but yeah, Puka and Genti, Herbert, Purdy, Henry, Addison, Tyreek. That's a pretty good starting 6 starters right there. And then you fill it out with Sutton, Mooney, and then it really went off the rails. The last 5 picks are pretty bad other than Terrence Ferguson. Wicks, Mitchell, Rattler, Turpin. I mean, he basically just drafted nobody for 4 rounds. So it kind of falls off the map there. We get some more Bishal Tootin FUD here. 906 is going to look way too high in a year. We're going to have to bring this to the chat afterward and see why you guys are being such haters. We're going to have to talk about it. I'm going to tag you. I'm going to tag Angus. We're going to fight it out, and we're going to see what happens. But yeah, Nikolai's absolutely right here. 3 wide receivers off the rip always feels like the top contenders for year one. I did point out Tim's team. I pointed out Yella's team. They went wide receiver early. Double Kingdom's got 2 wide receivers early. The running backs are a little bit light. You know, you're going to have to swing a trade there. I don't think you're getting it done with just Hampton and Monty and Garendo. Maybe you flip one of these tight ends at some point, hopefully Dalton Kincaid, and just maybe you can get something going there. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty balanced, you know, coming out of the startup. I like this team too. Just want to come back around to Rich. Rich's team looks pretty good. Oh yeah, that's what Chris said as well. Yeah, I mean, Allen and Caleb, I think, are solid. I think Caleb has top 12 upside for sure this year. Garrett, Smith, Flowers, Golden, Godwin is a solid wide receiver core. Not star power there. I don't think you're getting a league winner there. But Bucky and Kamara could be 2 RB1s for you. Andrews and Ingram could both be start worthy. You've got some contingent upside with your running back room later on in Charbonnet, Harris, Stevenson. So I don't hate that at all. Do not hate that at all. Yeah, so I think in year one, there's stiff competition for sure. And that's why I think it's really hard to build like a powerhouse team out of year one that's just going to be a clear favorite. And so I do like doing more of a balanced build and not putting all my eggs in the one basket of this year, which, to be fair, I don't think most people here have done. But yeah, it's hard to pick out exactly who's going to be a bye week team here, who's going to be non-competitive in year one. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anybody here is not competing and is totally out of the running to compete in year one. I might have the worst build for that, honestly. But yeah, I mean, everybody drafted pretty well. So anybody else have questions? So yeah, so I guess I pointed out some of the picks that I didn't love. We don't need to go into that too much further. Trying to see if anything else sticks out to me here from this board. If anybody else has comments before we wrap this thing up, feel free to throw them out because we're going to be done here soon. Chris's team: Hurts, McBride, Hunter, Henderson, Igbuka, Harvey, Adams, Fields, Jennings. I mean, I kind of love this. I kind of love this team, to be honest, because you've got some serious anchor pieces here with Hurts and McBride. Adams, I think, and Fields are really strong for this year. Jennings and Swift, both startable guys. I really like this team because it has a lot of that youth upside with the rookies. He still, obviously, we all have our future picks, but he has a lot of youth upside here, but he also took some tactical stabs on potential high scorers for 2025 in Adams and Fields and Jennings, even Swift. So yeah, this is a really solid build. I like how this one turned out. It's going to be slightly thin at wide receiver, but it's pretty good. Max says Warren at 6'8" too high. No, I definitely don't think it was too high. I mean, I very much prefer Warren at 6.8, 2 rounds after Sam Laporta. I think that's a really good value. Definitely don't think he went too high among tight ends. I mean, depending on my team, I'd probably take a Kenneth Walker or a Waddle or Pickens ahead of him, but I don't think it was a problem to take Warren there. They're all in the same tier. You didn't have a tight end yet. I think that's totally reasonable. So anyway, guys, that was fun. I'll drop the board in the chat. I want to go argue about Bishal Tutin in the clubhouse. So if anybody wants in on that, that's where I'll be. And yeah, it's been fun. So appreciate you guys coming out. Glad we could do this on Thursday. Little off schedule this week. I'm going to stay far away from whatever Chris just sent in the chat because I'm scared of it. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Let me know what you think of the new video today as well if you get a chance to check that out. And I'll talk to you guys soon.